The Department of Adult and Juvenile Detention's mission is to contribute to the public safety of the citizens of King County and Washington State by operating safe, secure, and humane detention facilities and community corrections programs in an innovative and cost-effective manner.
Hello, I'm Commander Gordon Carlson. Welcome to the King County Department of Adult and Juvenile Detention, or DAJD. Our department provides the men and women, including minors housed in our facilities, with services, education, and programming designed to meet their needs. Community partners, such as yourself, help achieve this goal by connecting with individuals while they are incarcerated. This orientation will provide you with information and rules for our facilities that will help you provide services in a safe and secure manner. Along with this video, you will receive a training packet with 2 copies of DAJD's Code of Conduct and 2 copies of our PREA policy. Please read and sign a copy of each form and return them to the volunteer coordinator. These forms are needed to complete your access. The other copy is for your records. Additionally, your packet should include information regarding other policies specific to the facility you will be accessing. Once you have finished watching the video, please contact your volunteer coordinator to schedule your photo appointment. On behalf of DAJD, thank you for your commitment and for partnering with us in this work to successfully transition our population back into their communities.
In this video, we're going to show you our facilities and give you the rules and guidelines for interacting with our personnel and inmates. This will include DAJD access levels, the Code of Conduct, the Prison Rape Elimination Act, or PREA, boundaries, contraband, facility codes, and general information. DAJD facilities. Under DAJD's management are 4 divisions. The King County Correction Facility in Seattle, or KCCF, the Norm Mailing Regional Justice Center in Kent, also known as the MRJC, the King County Juvenile Detention Center in Seattle, and the Community Correction Center in Seattle. KCCF and RJC are our adult detention facilities. The leadership team, or chain of command for each facility, includes a commander, major, captains, sergeants, and officers. The Juvenile Detention and Community Corrections divisions have division directors and assistant directors. You may also interact with other non-uniform leaders like administrators, managers, supervisors, and officers. Although all of our chain of command operates by an open-door policy, it is important to contact the volunteer coordinator in your facility with questions or concerns first. The volunteer coordinator will be able to assist you or will refer you to a person who can. It is also very important to please keep in mind at all times, uniformed staff are on your side and are your lifeline if there are any problems or situations where you feel unsafe or threatened by inmates within our facilities. Adult inmate housing. Individuals housed at KCCF or RJC are classified as minimum, medium, close security, or have some type of restrictive housing custody levels. Housing classifications are determined by a variety of factors, including an inmate's behavior. The classification levels determine the availability of inmates for programming and other services. DAJD facility populations fluctuate daily, which means there is a high possibility that the individual you are hoping to see in our facilities may have moved or been released. Please use our Inmate Lookup registry on our department's webpage on the kingcounty.gov website to ensure locations before traveling to our facilities. Community Corrections Division. The Community Corrections Division is home to our Day Reporting Center, CCAP, or Community Center for Alternative Programs. Also under our Community Corrections Division is our Work Release Program, also known as WER. Work Release is an alcohol and drug-free residential program that allows offenders to leave the facility for work, school, or treatment and return to the secured facility after their work or appointments. Juvenile Detention Housing. Our Youth Detention Center is currently comprised of 10 living units which can house up to 14 detainees at one time. The number of living units depends on the number of youth in detention. Youth are classified when they come in and are housed based on several factors, including gender and developmental stage. The Juvenile Division uses an incentive-based behavioral system which focuses on rewards for pro-social behavior and uses a variety of tools to redirect problem behavior. Youth have the ability to earn privileges by following rules and abstaining from disruptive behavior. All detainees wear a colored ID band that indicates the youth's level of crime. Yellow bands are assigned for misdemeanor offenses. Green bands are assigned for felony 2 charges. Red bands are assigned for Class A felonies. Psychiatric housing. DAJD recognizes that our population may have additional health needs due to mental health or substance abuse challenges. To ensure we meet our population's needs, we provide specialized housing for psychiatric needs and suicidal situations. We also partner with local hospitals that are able to provide services our detention clinic is unable to provide. If you encounter an inmate or detainee who may be experiencing medical or psychiatric needs while in our facility, please inform an officer immediately. You may also inform the volunteer coordinator if future visits are planned to ensure appropriate modification to the individual's custody level do not impact your service if possible. Individuals housed in psychiatric units or the infirmary clinic may have visitation restrictions for services. These restrictions are in place to ensure safety and security. If you are unable to meet with an individual based on medical needs and have an urgent matter to address, please contact the volunteer coordinator for additional assistance. Jail access type. Jail access type is assigned to service providers based on access need. The following are the possible access types you may have been assigned. 1. Non-DAJD ID badge. 2. An H badge. Or 3. A volunteer Rolodex badge. You will be provided with a badge at your photo appointment. You will need to have your badge with you if you intend to enter the secured perimeter. Your ID badge will need to be worn on your upper body at all times while in the facility. If you misplace your badge, please notify the volunteer coordinator immediately. The badge will need to be deactivated. Replacement of the ID badge may require 2 to 3 business days. H badge and volunteer Rolodex badge. In order to enter DAJD facilities, you will need to exchange your valid Washington State ID at the reception window for your assigned badge. Your name on your ID must match the name entered in our computer Rolodex system. If you make changes to your name, please notify the volunteer coordinator immediately, in writing, to ensure continued access. All badges must be worn on your upper body, ensuring they are easily visible to staff who may be monitoring movement by video. Please note, if you do not have proper and valid identification with you when you arrive at DAJD facilities, access will be denied until proper identification can be provided. There will be no exception. Code of Conduct. As a community partner, DAJD will make accommodations to allow for service delivery. However, access to our detention centers may be revoked for violations of our Code of Conduct. We strive to ensure our facilities are safe for everyone who is housed, works, or visits. In order to achieve optimal security, we have created a Code of Conduct that will present you with clear expectations regarding your behavior while in our facilities. We will review the Code of Conduct in this video. You have a copy in your training packet if you wish to follow along. Please direct any questions regarding its content to the volunteer coordinator. If you do not follow the Code of Conduct guidelines, your access will be reviewed and potentially discontinued. Upon arrival, DAJD access is meant to be used only for the purpose of providing services to inmates. Access will be revoked where individuals abuse the access given to them. Examples include deception, intimidation, or representing themselves as a King County or DAJD staff member. You may not use your DAJD access to visit with friends or family. Personal visitation must occur on inmate visiting days only through the window visiting booths. Please refer to our department webpage on King County's website, kingcounty.gov, for specific visitation information. While in DAJD facilities, you will be subject to search by DAJD staff members. You must comply and consent to be searched, or you may choose to leave the facility instead. If you appear to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol, you will be denied access. Anyone accompanying you during your visit to DAJD must also be in the DAJD's computer Rolodex system prior to the visit or approved in writing by the volunteer coordinator. You should also verify access approval prior to traveling to other DAJD facilities. Personal items, materials, contraband. There are limitations regarding the materials you may bring with you inside the secured perimeter based on access type. Please refer to the personal item sheet in your packet. Do not give any item to any inmate without prior approval by the volunteer coordinator, sergeant, or the corrections supervisor on duty. Furthermore, gifts, personal services, or favors from any inmate are prohibited. Do not send or receive mail from inmates. Contraband is any item given without prior authorization or altered from its original state. Possession or introduction of contraband into the detention facilities is prohibited and will result in the loss of access and possible criminal charges. If you are unsure about contraband, please ask the volunteer coordinator for clarification. Additional information about contraband will be reviewed in this video. Do not bring metal items, weapons, or personal items into the facility. If you have items with you, you will be asked to place them in a lobby locker. You will need to bring quarters with you to use the lockers. Officers at our lobby cannot provide change. You may also return the items to your car. Attire. While in our facilities, we ask that you dress in a manner consistent with your professional visit. Clothing should not be provocative or revealing. Do not allow any inmate to wear any personal attire at any time. Inappropriate and non-professional attire may result in denied access and your program or service being canceled for the day. Please refer to the dress code in your packet. Service delivery. Be punctual and regular in attendance. Your program's success, services, and continued access rests greatly on your credibility and consistency. Do not establish or maintain personal relationships with inmates as a result of work within the DAJD facilities. Behavior that creates a conflict of interest can result in the loss of access. If you are contacted outside of the facility by an inmate or on behalf of an inmate for a reason other than your professional service, please contact your supervisor or volunteer coordinator as soon as possible. Maintain professional interaction at all times. Personal disclosure and physical contact are not acceptable. These actions can be misinterpreted or used to manipulate you. Problems and concerns. If you have concerns regarding your continued service delivery within our facilities, please notify your supervisor and the volunteer coordinator for possible resolution. DAJD will do our best to make accommodations when possible. Report any safety and security concerns to an officer immediately and notify the volunteer coordinator as soon as possible. While in the facility, please adhere to directives from our corrections officers. Their job is to keep everyone safe, and this may mean that your service will be interrupted or discontinued at a moment's notice. Do not argue with the officers or ignore directives. Notify the volunteer coordinator of the situation for additional support and resolution. If you have an emergency, notify an officer immediately. For non-emergency needs, inform the officer that you need their assistance as soon as they are able to assist. Adherence to the Code of Conduct is expected at all times while in DAJD facilities. If you fail to adhere to the Code of Conduct, your access may be revoked. Please refer any questions to the volunteer coordinator. General information, adult facilities. While in our adult facilities, you may find yourself having trouble finding your way. Any officer or staff member can help. Additionally, you will find steel panels at each doorway or elevator with a button. You may push this button and inform the officer that you need help and where you are trying to go. Please note that while in the facilities, you may be asked to share an elevator with inmates or may need to walk alongside them in the hallways. Please follow the officer's directives regarding where to stand or if asked to step out of the elevator. Directives from officers may require you to discontinue your service or program. It is essential that you follow directions. Officers will only interrupt your service in order to maintain safety and security or if approved by a captain. Please do not argue or ignore officer directives, as there may be a time-sensitive matter to address. Juvenile facilities. Throughout the facility, you will find control posts staffed by a juvenile detention officer, JDO. You may ask for directions from any JDO or staff member. Please follow directives from uniformed staff at all times. Officer uniforms include gray shirts or navy windbreakers with insignia. Supervisors can be identified by black shirts with insignia. Please don't argue or ignore instructions. Follow the instructions immediately. If you have feedback for staff, please find an appropriate time away from detainees. Regardless of your personal feelings about any situation, please do not undermine staff authority in front of detainees, verbally or through your body language. When moving through our halls, stay to the right. When groups of detainees are being moved, please wait for the group and their staff to pass before proceeding to your destination. At doorways, please allow detainees and detention officers to proceed first unless you feel threatened or have reason to believe your personal safety is in jeopardy. Having detainees go first is a safety precaution. Surveillance. All of our secured facilities are under video surveillance at all times. Movement and activity in the facilities are monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, year-round. Wandering through our detention facilities and socializing with staff is prohibited. You are expected to remain with your assignment at all times. Inmate and detainee escorting. Only officers can escort inmates or detainees. Please do not ask to escort individuals housed at DAJD facilities. All facilities have officers assigned to escorting inmates or detainees to activities. Please remember that in a detention facility, there are many reasons for escorting needs. It is likely that you will need to wait up to 15 minutes for the arrival of your clients, students, or program participants. If you've waited more than 15 minutes, respectfully remind the officers of your program or service. The Prison Rape Elimination Act, also known as PREA.
My name is Captain Lawley, and I'd like to talk to you about the Prison Rape Elimination Act. The Prison Rape Elimination Act was created to ensure that the environment for inmates and detainees are free of sexual abuse and sexual harassment. Here at the Department of Adult and Juvenile Detention, we have a zero tolerance for sexual abuse and sexual harassment. It is also a priority of our department to ensure that you know what sexual abuse and sexual harassment is, how to avoid it, and what to do should an offense occur. You also should understand that it is your right to report sexual abuse and sexual harassment, and there is help available if needed. The report can be submitted confidentially, and there is additional information located on posters located throughout the facility. What is sexual abuse and harassment? The sexual abuse and harassment of an inmate, detainee, or resident can include, but is not limited to, sexual contact or touching, requests for sexual favors, sexually suggestive or obscene language, repeated and unwelcome sexual advances, sexual gestures, inappropriate viewing or voyeurism, unreasonable and unnecessary invasion of privacy beyond what is required for safety and security. What should you do if you are made aware of an incident? If you become aware of an incident of sexual misconduct of any kind, you are to immediately notify corrections staff in order to prevent further misconduct. If an inmate is acting inappropriately, also immediately notify corrections staff to have the behavior stopped. Corrections staff are responsible for jail security and safety of all inmates and personnel. Remember that there can never be consensual sex in a custodial relationship. At your earliest convenience, please inform the volunteer coordinator regarding the incident as well.
Boundaries.
Let's talk about boundaries. You are expected to maintain a professional standard of conduct at all times while in DAJD facilities. It is important to maintain a professional demeanor to ensure there are no misunderstandings. Sharing personal information is strongly discouraged, as these disclosures may be misunderstood or used to manipulate you. Avoid becoming inappropriately friendly or familiar with inmates or detainees. Contact, interaction, and communication of a personal or intimate nature, including written correspondence, is inappropriate and prohibited. Avoid discussing criminal charges or alleged offences with inmates or detainees. Redirect the conversation or simply restate your purpose for the visit. Do not get involved in the personal affairs or criminal case of inmates or detainees. Do not attend court hearings or write advocacy letters to the court on behalf of inmates or detainees without prior approval from DAJD management. Physical contact with inmates and detainees is strictly prohibited. Occasional handshakes, are appropriate and can be administered at your discretion. Hugs are not allowed. Set clear boundaries with inmates and detainees from the beginning. Manipulation can be subtle and dangerous and may go unrecognized for a period of time. It is important to be able to recognize and be on the alert for potential manipulation. If you find yourself being manipulated, discontinue your service or program immediately and notify the volunteer coordinator. You are leading a group within DAJD's secured perimeter. The conversations within your classroom are your responsibility. If the conversation is taking on topics that are inappropriate, immediately redirect your group and refocus the inmates to the topic of the program. Please notify the volunteer coordinator as soon as possible. If you are unable to regain control of the conversation in your program, immediately discontinue your group and notify the volunteer coordinator.
Contraband. Possession or introduction of contraband to any DAJC facility is prohibited and will be cause for termination of your access and possible criminal charges. You are responsible for all items you bring into DAJD facilities at all times. Definition of contraband. Any item presented to an inmate or detainee without prior approval. Any item expressly prohibited by the administration or declared illegal by law. Any item or items that have been altered in any way. Everyday items can be used by inmates or detainees to jeopardize safety and security within DAJD secured facilities. To avoid disruption, please leave any items not essential to your program or service locked in your car, at home or office, or in lockers available to you in our facility lobby. Emergency codes. Adult facilities. Officers will notify everyone in the facility of codes through the intercom system. You will hear a series of bells before being notified of the active code. If you are in the facility during a code, it is important to follow officer directives and stay out of the way. Codes can be life-threatening, and time can make a difference. Avoid standing in the way or distracting officers during a code. Do not attempt to use the elevator during a code. Once the code is cleared, an officer will notify everyone in the facility through the intercom system. Here are some of the codes you could experience. Code Blue. Staff needs help. Physical altercation between inmates and all other emergencies not labeled in this orientation. Code Red. Identifies a fire in the facility. Please follow staff directives for evacuation if necessary. Code Yellow. Riot, hostage, escape, or jailbreak. Jail may become frozen or locked down, which means all movement will stop until the code is cleared. Code Green. Major emergency resulting in numerous injuries or death to inmates or personnel and property damage. For example, an earthquake. Medical status 1, 2, or 3. Identifies a medical emergency. Medical staff are paged to assist with the medical need. Emergency medical services or technicians, that's EMS or EMTs, may also be called. Please refrain from movement throughout the facility until the code is complete. You will be notified through our intercom system when movement may resume. Juvenile facilities. Our juvenile detention codes are as follows. Code 1. Supervisor assistance plus 1 additional staff is needed. Code 2. Emergency. Supervisor plus 2 or more staff are needed. Code 3. Major emergency in the school, gym, or library. All available staff are needed. Code Blue. Major medical emergency. Supervisor, a nurse, and 2 or more additional staff are needed. Code Red. Fire. Code Green. Escape or attempted escape. Code Purple. Natural disaster, bomb threat, or other major emergency. Code Blue. Medical, psychiatric emergency. In a code, you must follow staff directives until the code is cleared to ensure safety and security of everyone in the facility. Please avoid distracting staff during codes as their attention is needed to address the emergent situation.
Thank you for viewing this orientation. We hope that this information contained in this video will help ensure your services or program success and ongoing safety and security of our DAJD facilities. If you have additional questions regarding this information, please contact the volunteer coordinator. Welcome.